What kind of person floods a man's life's work just to flex their power, then gets buried in their own mud? Let me tell you about Lisa, the HOA tyrant who thought she could drown my workshop and walk away clean. She had no idea I'd turn her precious clubhouse into a swamp, and the fallout would be so brutal it'd make the whole neighborhood cheer. This isn't just a story about revenge, it's about how one woman's ego sparked a muddy reckoning that changed everything. It was 3 a.m. when a roar like a freight train yanked me out of bed. Barefoot, heart pounding, I grabbed a flashlight and stumbled outside, expecting a burst pipe or a storm gone wild. Instead, I froze. A wall of water and thick, gritty sludge was charging down the hill, slamming into my workshop. It seeped through cracks, swallowed my custom furniture, my antique tools, my great-granddad's chisel, years of sweat and soul drowned in a brown tide. Rain stung my face as I stood there, soaked and helpless, watching my life's work vanish. I didn't know yet this wasn't some cruel act of nature. It was Lisa, the HOA's self-appointed queen, and she was about to learn some floods hit back twice as hard. By the time the deluge slowed, the damage was catastrophic. I waded into the workshop, yanking open the battered door to a nightmare, shelves ripped down, benches flipped, a mahogany table for a client due next week warped beyond repair. It wasn't just money gone. It felt personal, like someone had set fire to my dreams. This was no accident. It was a hit. I pulled on boots, grabbed my flashlight, and trudged uphill through the mud. 50 yards up, near the HOA's property line, I found it, a new PVC pipe jutting from fresh dirt, reeking of wet concrete, aimed like a cannon at my land. Water dripped from its lip, the smoking gun of my ruin. Someone had rerouted runoff to target me, no permits, no care, just malice. Dawn broke, the rain stopped, but my rage burned hotter than ever. I snapped photos of the pipe, the churned earth, the muddy cascade it unleashed. Then I saw Lisa outside the HOA office, clipboard in hand, smirking as she inspected sidewalks like some petty dictator. I knew my target. I marched over, boots caked in mud, and demanded answers. She barely looked up, her sneer sharp enough to slice. "Maybe if you had better drainage, you wouldn't have this problem," she said, tapping her pen with fake sweetness. Then she added, "I could face fines if runoff hits HOA's sidewalks." The nerve left me speechless, fists clenching the photos. That's when it hit me, reasoning with her was pointless. Lisa had underestimated me, and I wasn't just going to fix this. I'd make her precious clubhouse a swamp she'd need a boat to escape. I sketched the hills, laid runoff paths, soil types, inclines. With the right push, that dirt could become a muddy avalanche. I grinned, the first real smile all day. They wanted to play with water? I'd play back legally, precisely, with enough mud to bury their egos. It had to be airtight. One slip, and Lisa would haul me to court. It also had to hit hard enough to make them regret crossing anyone ever again. I needed allies, friends with skills, gear, and a shared hatred for the HOA's reign of terror. As I locked the ruined workshop, anticipation replaced despair. Lisa had no clue what she'd unleashed, but she was about to find out. Morning sharpened my focus. I drove to the county records office, a musty brick building smelling of old paper. I needed proof the HOA's drainage was illegal and a way to turn their stunt back on them. An hour of digging through maps and permits struck gold. The HOA's approved landscaping plan from 6 months ago showed drainage routed elsewhere, not at my property. They'd altered it without approval, unethical and illegal. I copied everything: maps, signatures, dates. A pamphlet on water rights sealed it. Landowners were liable for runoff damage, especially mud flows from construction. Lisa had written her own doom. Suing was tempting, but slow. I wanted impact now. The clubhouse's neighboring lot weed choked, piled with loose dirt, and a broken irrigation system was my weapon. Shallow trenches, softened soil, and gravy tide could turn it into a sludge river during the next storm. No illegal mods, just nature's push. I mapped elevations, sketched water paths, and pictured the deluge. It had to look natural but hit like a train. I called my old construction buddy Tom, a backhoe genius, Jake, a plumber, and Sarah, a landscaping pro. Over diner burgers, I laid out the plan. Their anger matched mine. The HOA had bullied them too. Tom would dig trenches, claiming irrigation maintenance. Jake would tweak old sprinkler pipes to leak strategically. Sarah would mask our work with mulch. We weren't in it for money, just justice. For nights, we worked like ghosts, shifting dirt, sloping trenches, rigging pipes under moonlight. By day, we wore vests, hauled hoses, and looked like hired hands. Lisa passed by once, eyeing us suspiciously but saying nothing. She thought we were cleaning up her mess. Perfect. We built subtle weirs to slow water, dirt dams to collapse under pressure, and puddles to prime the soil into goo. It was grueling, but each shovel felt like carving a masterpiece from spite. By night 5, it was ready. From the hilltop, I saw the clubhouse gleaming below, clueless. A storm was coming, and I imagined homeowners in brunch finery wading through muck, Lisa shrieking as her empire sank. To cover myself, I hid trail cameras in trees and fake sprinklers, recording every trickle to prove it was rain and gravy, not sabotage. The storm hit like a monster. By noon, black clouds unleashed sheets of rain, gutters overflowing. I slipped into a raincoat, boots squelching to the lot. Water pooled behind our dams, mud churning into a thick soup. From a pine's cover, I watched the beast swell. Below, the clubhouse buzzed cars pulling in, women in heels dodging rain, men in polos sprinting for cover. Lisa stood at the entrance, clipboard clutched, barking at a volunteer wrestling an awning. They were clueless, hosting a gala in a trap. The first dam gave way quietly, a trickle snaking downhill. Gravy took over, the trickle swelling into a surge, dragging dirt and debris. Within minutes, a brown river slithered toward the clubhouse. Screams pierced the rain as guests sank into mud. Lisa spun, eyes wide, as sludge swallowed curbs, flower beds, and her pristine landscaping. Cars skidded. A catering truck smashed into a fountain, stones shattering. Mud breached the clubhouse doors, flooding pastel tables and floral displays. Guests scrambled onto chairs, clutching purses, shrieking. Lisa tried to fight, jamming herself against the door like she could stop nature. She slipped, face planting into muck, dress ruined, hair plastered. I bit my cheek to stifle a laugh. The cameras caught it, all chaos reigned. Heels sank, umbrellas snapped, an SUV smashed the clubhouse railing. Inside, furniture floated, carpets stained. Lisa yelled for mops, useless against the swamp. Guests fled, tires spinning in the lot's soup. I checked the camera's perfect footage of rain, mud, and no foul play. Lisa could scream sabotage, but the truth was ironclad. As the rain eased, the clubhouse was a ruin, her empire a joke. I trudged home, boots heavy, satisfaction lighter than air. The real blow was coming, legal, public, and final. By morning, the neighborhood buzzed. Viral videos showed the muddy disaster, guests slipping, cakes toppling, Lisa flailing like a swamped creature. At 10 a.m., she pounded my door, flanked by 2 grim board members, while viewing a soggy folder. "You did this!" she screamed, accusing me of vandalism. I leaned against the doorframe, calm, and held up a flash drive. "Call the cops," I said. "But check this first." It had footage of their illegal drainage, proof their negligence caused the flood. She snatched it, cursing, and stormed off. By noon, county inspectors and engineers swarmed the HOA office, grilling Lisa as she flailed. My cameras showed the mudslide's natural flow and the HOA's prior tampering. Their insurance denied claims, citing negligence. Fines piled up, construction violations, and environmental damage, safety breaches. A class action lawsuit from homeowners, furious over flooded basements and ruined yards, buried them further. That night's HOA meeting was a circus. Residents packed a rented room, shouting for resignations. Lisa banged a gavel, but the mob roared, playing looped footage of her muddy fall. The no-confidence vote was a bloodbath, 92 to oust her, 4 to keep her, probably her own cronies. She fled, jeered, grass thrown at her SUV as it sprayed sludge. The clubhouse stayed fenced off, its foundation shot, interiors gutted. Fines and lawsuits drained funds, and it was repossessed, later razed for a park. Lisa's house sat unsold, her name poison. She slunk off to a cheap condo, her HOA dreams dead after her mudslide infamy spread. My workshop rose anew, bigger, fortified, funded by settlements and neighbor donations. At its opening barbecue, the neighborhood celebrated freedom. Drone shots captured our joy against the clubhouse's ruins, a perfect symbol. As the bonfire crackled, I sipped a beer, reflecting. Lisa's flood had nearly broken me, but it forged something stronger. The mud didn't just ruin her. It rebuilt us free and fierce.